Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. And boy, oh boy, yes, beautiful times that we're living in. All praises, honor, and glory is definitely due to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai for bringing this word to be faithful and true. Bringing the prophecies to pass, and hey, like I said, it's beautiful times we're living in. So let me start right here, Revelation chapter 13 and 11. It says that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than we believed. Well, nearer than we believed. And yes, our salvation is nearer than we believe. Now, to speak on that, plenty of scriptures, Revelation chapter 13, not Revelation 13, I want to say Revelation 12, and 2nd Ezra chapter 13, and more other scriptures, speak on World War III, and that's the war in which, in the midst of that war, our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, or Messiah, is going to return and redeem his elect in the midst of that war. And so we're seeing the things pop off with Iran, and we know that this cannot really de-escalate. It will, I want to say, it will not turn into nuclear, until that Revelation 13 and 16 is made mandatory, that chip, man. And we coming up to that time. You know what I'm saying? We're coming up to that time. And I was listening to the elder Ariala today, and he was talking about, and that's the brother in Dallas, by the way, Remnant Saved 144 Ba. Let me see if I can find the page, because it would behoove you to subscribe and be edified. Let me see if I can find, and I probably let him speak a little bit. Why won't it be on here? Oh, duh. Yeah, I'm gonna let the brother speak a little bit, and then I'm gonna get back into it.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say, call hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakak, Kadash. Send double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone. Send much peace, love, salutation to Yakim out there pushing the word of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, sincerity and truth. This is Brother Ariala. This is just going to be a quick World War III update. War with Iran, and I say that with a question mark, just to have an objective outlook with what we see as far as the attacks that are going with Iran. They allegedly killed Khamenei, the Ayatollah leader of Iran, has been taken out pretty much in the first minutes of the strikes that happened. And, Iran has responded by attacking some satellite bases in the nearby nations roundabout. The United States and the state of Israel both have announced, war operations, basically to, do a regime change in Iran and take over the region, likely try to set up some of the Kurdish leaders that are in Iran. They want to set up the Kurds and, just have more geopolitical.
And I'm moving forward a little bit. I just want you to hear what he says.
Political control over Iran. You know, is Iran going to come and drop off some more missile defense systems, or bring out the scripture? The least y'all draw them out, because pretty much Trump is walking to the state of Israel's tomb to a T. You know, he bypassed Congress and just went straight to attacks. We'll have to jump in and come to Iran's aid for this to truly escalate into an Armageddon type of situation. And this is, and we have to see it as so that to me is suspicious. And when I see these other nations kind of sit back and just watch, I'm like, okay, this seems like theater to me. It seems like a coordinated move. It's more economic than it is.
And it makes sense, because we have to know that, like I said, that micro C-HIP, you know, that chip has to be made mandatory first. You see what I'm saying? But the tensions are rising. And if we're measuring the times diligently, then we know the times we're living in. We know that this World War III has to happen. You know what I'm saying? And we see how close we are, so we got to know that there is some kind of thing that they're going to do to crash this economy so that they can go ahead and bring in that MOTB. You know, that chip, Revelation 13 and 16. We'll get into it. You know. Matter of fact, let me just get into it. I'll come back to this Romans chapter 13. Lord will. Yeah, Revelation 13 and 16, down here highlighted in the orange, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a M-A-R-K in their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that hath the M-A-R-K, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay, you're not going to be able to buy or sell, so because this is going to be a global economic crash. Okay, and that's not going to be hard, because you see, like, the American dollar is the dominant dollar. That's the world currency. That's a world currency. Okay, and so when you crash the dollar, that's a global economic crash, and this is what's getting ready to happen. They're getting ready to crash the American dollar, the whole American economical system, and all these other nations are gonna follow behind. Their systems are gonna crash too, because that dollar is no longer relevant. You know, and where a lot of people are selling off their American Treasury bonds and stuff like that, there are still a lot of people who have held on. You know, trying to give America a chance. You know, basically, but America is through, man. Babylon the Great is through. Stick a fork in it, you know. But anyway, the point is that this man has to implement this, and this here is, like he said, is more economical than it is about World War III. But I'm gonna let him speak some more.
War, you know, but you know, I could be wrong. We can see. That's just my viewpoint. Obviously, we get excited when we see these things. You know, brothers make mention of the Ides of March, war, bloodshed. We got blood moons getting ready to come at the top of March, and then you know, and everything spiritually leading into the Passover. So, you know, how?
I remember he said blood moons leading into the time of March, because I'm gonna get into that as well. Okay. This will probably be more considered a prophecy watch video, but we'll see where the Spirit takes me.
The Most High moves us forward. We look through a glass darkly. We know in part, and we have to see it as it comes. But on the bulk side of things, as far as World War III goes, we know that these other nations will have to jump in and come to Iran's aid for this to truly escalate into an Armageddon type of situation. And this is on the crust of them wanting to roll out this MOTB system. So it's exciting news. A lot is going on, but I believe this is more about the MOTB than it is about World War III, because that right there is at the forefront. Is this economic collapse that we see happening. So, I'm still watching. We all watching. All the bros are watching and giving updates and everything like that. Lord willing, we'll keep, the congregation abreast on things as it rolls out. So, with that being said, I'm going to say, call hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kudash. Double honors once again to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, salutations to you. I'm out there pushing this motherfucker driving like an asshole.
It's more, in my opinion too, I agree with him, it's more economical than it is about World War III. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get it twisted. Don't be ignorant. This World War III thing is popping off. No doubt about that. Okay, I don't expect tensions to decrease. Okay, they will increase. They might make it seem to you as if it's decreasing, but best believe it's going to increase. Okay, we are at that time, simple as that. Okay, but like I said, before it goes nuclear, okay, other things have to happen. We have to deal with famines. Let's get the book of Luke, chapter 21. And we went into this a little bit today in camp, and I wanted to expound on it a little bit more. Right after camp, I had to go to the plantation, and it's a late night lesson, so we'll see what the Spirit does. Luke 21, starting at verse 10. Then he said unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. This is Yahweh speaking. It says, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places. You know what I'm saying? And we can look it up. That's a simple Google search. I'm going to just do earthquakes in 2026. How many earthquakes happened in 2026? In 2026, we got 16 earthquakes that was between 6.0 and 6.9. 235 earthquakes that was between 5.0 and 5.9. 1,213 earthquakes, okay, between 4.0 and 4.9. Okay, and you see the comparisons to 2016. It was even a lot more in 2016. Okay, but it's still going on. Okay. Okay, so we've been in this time for a minute. It says, and earthquakes shall be in diverse places and famines. And that's another thing that's going to happen. There's going to be a famine of the word, and there's going to be a famine of food and water. Okay, the famine of the word is when this truth is no longer going out, when we're no longer out on the highways and byways preaching this word, we're no longer doing lessons. You're not going to be able to find the man of the Lord. The doors of repentance are going to be closed. Okay? So I mean, like I said, I mean, like I started off with, it's high time to wake out of sleep. I'm gonna go back to that. Let me get this. Verse 12, it says, "But before all these, they shall lay their hands upon you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake." Okay, and once again, this says before all this. So before the famines, the pestilences, and all that there, the persecution has to come. That means the famine of the word has to come. Because that's when they're going to really physically persecute us. We're already being persecuted mentally and spiritually, you know. But these things have to come to pass, you know. And that's why they're shutting down, trying to get rid of free speech. They talk about everything is some kind of hate speech now. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, they're gearing towards all of it. All these other things have to happen before this war goes nuclear. When it goes nuclear, that's when Yahweh Shah is going to return. That's not going to last long either. You know. So, I mean, going back to the book of Romans, chapter 13. I think it was verse 11. Yes, it says Romans 13 and 11, "And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is salvation nearer than we believed." Okay? And it is. It says, "The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light." And that's this truth. We need this truth. That's why the scriptures say, "Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times." I think that's in Isaiah. Isaiah 33 and 6, it says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation, the fear The fear of the Lord is his treasure." Wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of our time. And our strength of salvation. We're going to be saved through our wisdom and knowledge, because this wisdom and knowledge is what's giving us the tools that we need to maneuver in these times. And we're going through the fire right now, so we're already getting the practice where everybody else is not getting the practice. So be thankful that you have this truth, that armor of light. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we're gonna need to get through this. This is what's gonna lead us through salvation. Because even going through what we're going through right now, it builds our faith. Okay, and our faith is gonna keep us from taking that MOTB for Revelation 13 and 16. Like I said, we're gearing towards that. Verse 13, it says, "Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying." Okay, so we're not going to participate. You know what I'm saying? The hope for the elect ain't going to participate in these different skirmishes that's going on. Even on the grounds of Babylon the Great, you're going to have civil wars, everyone against everybody. That's 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16, one or the other, And so, we're not going to do that. Matter of fact, I think, let me get it. See, and I'm kind of all over the place. Like I said, there's so much going on. And we just trying to endure, man. And we want to keep pushing these lessons out, and warning the people, warning the flock, 2nd Ezra 16 and 18, it says, the beginning of sorrows, the beginning of famine and great death, like we just read, the beginning of wars. This is the beginning of World War III. Okay, the final war. It says, "And the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a moment." Okay, But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always be mindful of the scourges. And people ain't paying attention to it right now. Even with this going on in Iran, people ain't paying attention and ain't been paying attention. I can be honest and say I was at work at the plantation today, and I work in a setting where there are at least a couple of hundred people. Okay, because it's a warehouse setting. I ain't hear not one person mention this today. Just being honest, nobody mentioned, man, we at war now. Nobody, because everybody's just caught up in their life, thinking that everything is okay. You know what I'm saying? Like in the days of Noah. You know? Let me find it. And all these scriptures about the plagues and stuff like that, all these things have to happen, you know, before World War III. Remember, our Lord returns during World War III. So all these things, we have to endure these things to be protected when he returns, you know. Second Ezra 16:70, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Okay, and we're being tried right now, you know. But these things are gonna happen, you know. Second Ezra 15. Second Ezra 15:14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and with swords in their hands. This is civil war. This is on the shores of Babylon the Great. Okay? There shall be sedition among men and invading one another. Verse 16. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Okay, this is everybody invading everybody. Okay? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because with everything going on, they're going to have to bring in martial law. Which let you know this ain't going to be a nuclear war just yet, because America still has to be some kind of intact to bring all these things, for all these things to happen. You know? For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And America is full of pride, you know, starting with the leaders. And the scriptures say, as the leaders are, so are the people, you know. So these things are happening, man. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. These things are getting ready to happen, man. These things are getting ready to happen. So it is high time to awake out of sleep. You know? I want to say this is in Matthew 24, but I just want to be sure. Yeah, it's in Matthew 24, it's in Mark and Luke, it's in the Gospels. You know, but Matthew 24, verse 7, it says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Okay, and so like the brother said, nation against nation. These other nations do have to get involved in this. You know what I'm saying? That's why if you go further in here, if I start at verse 6, it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. All these other things have to come to pass. The famines, earthquakes, pestilences, you know what I'm saying? Civil war, And we've been seeing civil war within these other nations, but it's about to hit the shores of America, Babylon the Great soon, man. Verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Okay, and this is the prophecies, man, and we speak about the famine of the world. This is what it's talking about. They shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, because a lot of us will die as martyrs for Yahweh's name's sake. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh's namesake. All these things have to come to pass. But we're doing this here to let you know the times we're living in. Let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 9. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world has an beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonderful, in powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. Okay? And so we're seeing all these different signs and these different effects. And let's hear about what's going on, a little bit of what's going on in Iran right quick. And go to a couple of the videos that came out. I do want to get this.
These people got power, but they're not very creative people. Right. So they'll use the same playbook, but now what it is, we're getting hip to the playbook. Now it's like they don't know what to do. Right. So they grasping at straws, and they're using the same things they were using before.
The United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or in the alternative, face certain death. Finally, to the great proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your...
And you see the pride in this man. Okay? We just read because of that pride. And that pride is the same amongst all these all these other citizens in Babylon the Great, save the elect, the hopeful elect. Pride goes before destruction, man. And the Babylon has to be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this is ultimately going to lead to. So they can have their hoorah right now, think that they really did something. But hey, Iran ain't all the way out of there, man. And Iran has allies that will defend Iran because they have reason to, because of resources like oil. Okay? Places like China and Russia, you know what I'm saying, they are allies with Iran. The BRICS nations, you see? But see, these people, they started acting yet because right now it's more of a financial concern. All nations are on board. Though they be at war with each other, they're on board with one thing. And they agree on one thing, and that's the MOTB. Okay? So they're all on board with getting their nations to comply. You know what I'm saying? With whatever it is that they do, you know, to bring it about in their particular country or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that's gonna happen. But it shows you how close we are, though. You know?
Freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
And I'm going to say this. He's talking to Iranians right now, basically telling them that, you know, a lot of bombs going to be dropping, you know, to shelter in place and all this here stuff. But hey, look here. It's going to be that same message for Americans. That same message is going to be sent out to you Americans. Okay? This ain't a joke, man. This ain't no joke. Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai ain't playing no games. The Lord is visiting this place. We just read in 2 Ezra chapter 9, and we're seeing the signs.
All right, it bears repeating as you have been watching. We are tracking breaking news. The Israeli Ministry of Defense is reporting that it, along with the United States, that is new information with the United States, has launched what it is calling preemptive strikes against Iran. Witnesses are reporting thick smoke from an explosion in downtown Tehran, Iran's capital, and Iran has shut down its airspace. Meantime, sirens are also sounding across Israel in anticipation of a retaliatory attack. All of this coming just hours after Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned Americans in Iran to leave immediately and not to travel there. Today, the Secretary designated Iran a state sponsor of wrongful detention. And earlier, President Trump said he is not happy with current negotiations over his demand for Iran to end its nuclear program. The president has spoken in vague terms about potential strikes on Iran.
We just bombed Iran. It's currently Saturday, February 27th, 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the U.S. and Israel have just bombed Iran. Mind you, no declaration of nor authorization for war by Congress, but what else is new? Looks like the news first broke here in the West around 30 minutes ago, with reports of 3 large explosions going off in Tehran. U.S. officials apparently expect this to be a far more extensive attack than the one from June when they attacked the nuclear facilities. If you've been paying any attention at all to the situation, then you were definitely expecting this. I know I and many others thought that it would happen earlier in the week around the State of the Union, but I'm sure Bill Clinton testifying before Congress today, which apparently enraged Trump quite a bit, called for a distraction. Hopefully this doesn't escalate too much, but a lot of people are expecting it will. To scary levels, let's say. But hey.
And because it's prophesied. So yeah, we're expecting it to happen. It's gonna escalate. It's gonna get worse. Don't get me wrong here. I'm just saying other things have to happen before it gets worse. Okay?
What else did you expect with the no new wars president?
These people got power, but they're not very creative people. Right. So they'll use the same playbook, but now what it is, we're getting hip to the playbook. Now it's like they don't know what to do. Right. So they grasping at straws and they're using the same things they were using before.
Let's get this in the book of Job, chapter 22. You know. Notice Job chapter 20. 22. Highlighted in the blue, it says, "In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him." Okay, and this is what's happening with Esau, Edom, and America, Babylon the Great. Okay, it says, when he is about to fill his belly, God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating, and they eating right now. Okay, he really think he's going to bring in his new world order, and they're doing everything they can to do so. They are eating, okay? But he's in straits because, as you can see, He's not very creative, as that brother just said. He's not creative, so he's just doing the same, repeating the same old playbook. You know what I'm saying? The same thing they saying about Iran is what they said about Iraq. You know what I'm saying? The same thing they said about every other country that they went in. And they said the same thing about Venezuela. They said the same thing in Cuba. You know what I'm saying? This is just what they do. This is how these Edomites get down, man. But it's just not working no more. It's just not working. He's in straits. That's why he don't know what to do. So he all over the place. You know, he's all over the place. Let's see what other videos I had here that I wanted to check out. Yeah, I think this was it.
Shalom. Let me get straight into this lesson. But I'm going to be getting into 2 videos going into, you brothers already probably heard about that, you brothers and you sisters, that the United States bombed Iran. And also they killed the supreme leader of Iran, the Ayatollah. So I'm going to get into 2 videos and then I'm going to get into this lesson. But this is something that I was observing today, going through Babylon folly, you know what I'm saying? And the people are just they docile, they in docility. I'm going to get into this scripture that, I need to dust off this scripture and bring it back out. I haven't brought it out in a while. But these people are fully docile and going by their everyday business. And they for the taking, because these people have no spiritual discernment of what's going on. We're at the end of time, and these people have no clue what the fuck is going on. Play this video.
How rises the Butcher Tower in Bahrain, hit in sickening strike. In positive says Qatar residents run for their lives as Iranian missile rains down. Okay, and I also have to say this definitely has to be true, because I was like I've mentioned in videos in the past, I've done a lot of work at the local airport, and today one of the Qatar flights going out, so I mean, it's letting you know how serious it is, they shut down the airspace in these areas because Qatar is still part of that Iran, United Arab Emirates, you know what I'm saying? This is all these Muslim countries, and it's all part of the so-called Middle East. That's our land, man. We coming to get it back soon, but ultimately, hey, the Lord is bringing these people together for war, okay? And that's what the prophecies say, I mean, the water Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah for just bringing your prophecies to pass and proving your words to be faithful and true. I think it's Joel chapter 3. It says, "For behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the Yahweh Shaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Okay, they parted the land. Okay, so Ishmael and Elam over there, in our land, along with these tiny tops, small hats, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, they're finna have to give it up, but the Lord is gathering them all together there for war, you know. Let's see. Joel chapter 2. I'm going to start at, let me see. Is it this one that I wanted? It probably is in chapter 3. Let me see. The Valley of Decision. I think that is chapter 3, actually. Duh. So going down, Joel chapter 3 and 14, multitudes, Salaki, I'm half asleep here. Multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Okay, this is Yahweh Shaphat, Jehoshaphat, what you just read. Okay, this is your so-called Middle East. It says the sun and moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, and the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. Okay, and this is ultimately the elect, because the Lord is coming to save his people out of this mess, like I said, in the midst of the war. Okay. It says, so shall ye know that I am Yahweh your power, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass there through her anymore. This is talking about the kingdom that's going to be set up when this kingdom is brought down. Okay? And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters, and the fountains shall come forth from the house of the Yahweh, and water the valley of Shittim. So it's talking about that once again, the kingdom of heaven. We're going to have all these riches and everything we want, the resources and everything. Okay, and also the word of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, is going to come forth through Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Oh, man. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 3, Kala Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. It says, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. The word of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai going to go forth through Jerusalem, because we're going to teach the other nations our ways, the ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, our laws. Okay, the world will be no longer ruled in wickedness, but in righteousness. Beginning with Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, our Lord and Savior. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, let's go ahead and get back to the video.
Oh my God.
And that's gonna be these Americans when the missiles start to come upon this earth. They're gonna be into their folly and they're gonna get caught off guard. They're gonna get ambushed. The Lord has fattened up these Americans for the slaughter. Let me get into this, play a little bit more of this video.
You know. I'm gonna let that play some more. Let's go to Joel chapter 3. I want to finish that out. And it's down here at the bottom. Verse 19. I want to say this. Get this. It says, Egypt shall be a desolation. In the modern day, Egypt is America, Babylon the Great. That's what it's talking about. And Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. Okay, so the Lord is getting ready to recompense. You know what I'm saying? Esau, for our captivity. You know what I'm saying? And Esau is gonna be a desolate wilderness. After that 3,000 years of slavery, there will be no more Edomites, man. No more Esau, Edom, none of that. Decimated, wiped off the face of the earth. Okay, that wickedness is gonna be finally put out. And America, Babylon the Great, that great whore, the mother of all abominations of the earth, spoken of in the book of Revelations, man. This place is gonna be a desolate wilderness, man, as well. And these are the times we're coming into. Eventually it's gonna lead to that. All these different countries dropping bombs on America and on Israel. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, them tiny tops gotta get it too, man. They gotta get it too. Only that land is gonna be rebuilt, because that's our land. You know what I'm saying? They gonna get it too.
You see what's going on. War is in the air, but these people are oblivious and dumb and stupid, and they so submerged in this place literally got blinders on it.
It's funny, I gotta say this, because I didn't put it together of how Dubai, Qatar all ties into Iran, till while I was at the plantation today, and I was just pondering on all this, and in camp today, I just made a joke, because we was talking about, because like the brother mentioned, there's a lot of people just still trying to go about their everyday lives. With everything going on in Mexico, we got people mad because they can't take their trip to Mexico. They can't go vacation in Mexico and Cancun like they used to doing, And I made the joke. I was saying, imagine how Eve gonna be when she can't go to Dubai. Because if you in the know, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Obviously, she's already not able to go to Dubai, because I'm sure that was shut down as well.
Let me get into this other video. Give me 1 second. All right, let me get into this video.
We are just now getting...
Because Dubai is United Arab Emirates, just so you know.
This breaking news that's coming into us from Fox. I'm going to have our producers behind the scenes change the banner, but right now this has just been confirmed, Brian, over the air, that Iran's supreme leader
the Ayatollah has been killed in those strikes. Fox is now reporting that on screen. They're having their reporter speaking on it now as he's live in Tel Aviv. But once again, folks, if you're just joining us here at home, we've been waiting for this information. We had gotten some insight before from our partners there at Reuters. They were able to talk to us to let us know that Netanyahu, the prime minister, as he just had statements a little while ago, said that there were signs that the prime minister, that the Ayatollah was no longer anymore. This is what he said, according to Aisha Hassi with Fox News. This morning, we have destroyed the compound of the tyrant Khomeini. Many of the signs showing that he is no longer. That is exactly what he said in his speech. We have just been
and see this mainstream media stuff, okay? If you look at this, what it actually says, it got the periods. You know what I'm saying? 4 or 5 periods right there after he is no longer. In other words, as if he had something else to say, but he didn't continue. Okay? And this is whoever put this up, this post, it says, note, he stops shy from confirming death. Okay? So we don't know if this man is still alive or not. Okay? And I honestly, in my opinion, speaking as a man, I think he is. I don't think he just sat back and just let America attack and then hide out in a bunker or do something to protect himself. You know what I'm saying? These people were already under warning for the longest, you know what I'm saying, of America attacking. And they knew that America eventually would. And they knew that, you know, them tiny tops eventually would. Okay, so I'm pretty sure they made provisions for that shit. Don't get it twisted, man. And don't believe the hype. I mean, like I said, I'm just speaking as a man, but I don't think, you know what I'm saying, now.
By Fox News, confirming that Iran's supreme leader, Khomeini, is now been killed in these strikes. And so as we're getting this breaking news, and we still have Brian on the line here, Brian, I'm going to have you jump in here once again as we're talking about this. This is the moment that we've been waiting to hear. We didn't have confirmation. It was suspected. It was put out there on the internet. I had told folks earlier.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to get on there. But now, and yeah, this is the moment we've all been waiting for, especially the elect. You know what I'm saying? Now, they've been waiting for a moment to hear that Iran is taken down and this and that, and America reigns supreme still, you know. 2 monkeys and a dog, it ain't going to happen. You know. It's not going to happen. Now, I also want to get into this here just to segue to another topic. You know what I'm saying? With all this going on, you know, we also have this going on. Right here.
Hold on, man. We're gonna get this work.
On February 28th, 2026, a rare planetary alignment will light up the evening sky, and here's exactly when to look. 6 planets, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, will all be visible in the evening sky within about an hour after sunset. In the United States, start watching roughly 30 to 60 minutes after local sunset. Around 6:15 in New York, 6:29 in Washington, D.C., 6:09 in Chicago, 6:53 in Dallas, 6:20 in Denver, 6:54 in Phoenix, 6:18 in Los Angeles, 6:22 in Seattle, and roughly 6:30 to 6:45 in Anchorage, with Honolulu just after 6:10. In Europe and Africa, the best time is early evening, generally 30 to 90 minutes after sunset, around 6:10 in London. For Asia and Australia, look west after dusk.
Okay, this ultimately, these different planets, all these planets are aligning. Okay. Okay, so, and scriptures warned us about these things in the end times. Once again, this is how we know what time we're in. So we're going back to the book of Luke. Okay. And let's see what verse it was. Because I think it says it twice here in the book of Luke. Luke 21. Okay. Okay, and so when you says here in 21:10, we read it earlier, then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. Okay, we're seeing this here, all in the midst of this here happening, so you know that you're in that time. Okay, go further down a little bit. Verse 25, it says, and there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, and the sea and the waves roaring. Okay, all these things are about to come to pass, man. All these things are coming to pass. You know what I'm saying? This is happening real time. You know, look here, you can't escape the prophecies. You cannot escape the prophecies, okay? Esau is doing his best, you know what I'm saying, to change the prophecy, to escape the prophecy, because he knows what's prophesied about him. You know what I'm saying? And he knows that his time is up, you know. Because all these different things going on, he knows. He knows. Don't get it twisted. He knows. Revelation 12:12, highlighted in the pink here, says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down on you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay, this devil knows that his time is up. You know, and you people have been warned. You've been warned, man. We've been speaking of all these things for starting with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down, long enough for you to have to. Ain't nobody gonna have no excuse when judgment comes, man. When this destruction comes, nobody that's caught in this destruction is gonna have an excuse. Okay, you've had the opportunity to repent, and you still got it. Okay. Is it what the other one I want to get in Luke 21 as well? Let me see. Yeah, so let me start this again in verse 25. Luke 21:25. There shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts filling them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. The powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Okay, these people are shaking. The powers of the heaven going into these rulerships. Okay, these people are about to, everybody's about to feel the wrath of the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahweh. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the cloud with great with power and great glory, because he's going to come in that chariot, okay, in his divine body as well. He said, I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. He's not coming down here in a body that you can kill, that you can crucify, that you can hammer nails into. You know what I'm saying? You can't bleed this man no more. You can't bleed Yahweh Shah no more, man. That's all done and over with. He's conquered death. You know? Verse 28, it says, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Yeah, man, so it's our time to wake up out of sleep. We closer than we've ever been, you know? And very, very close. Okay? I want to get a couple of more scriptures. I'm going about an hour right now, but I got to get this in Psalm 91. Because the elect ain't supposed to be afraid right now. I'm going to start at the top here, and I'm going to read all the way down to, you know what? I'm gonna read the whole chapter, Psalm 91. Okay, I'm gonna read this whole chapter here. It says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty," and that's pretty much this. The secret place of the Most High is in His Word, His truth. "I will say of the Lord, Yahweh, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver me from the snare of the fowler and from the noise of pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler." His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Once again, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times. "Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day." And this is talking about World War III. This is talking about when them missiles hit, them arrows that flying, okay, day and night. "Thou shalt not be afraid verse 6, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee." Okay, because all these things are going to be happening in America and outside. I mean, we getting bombs from America. I mean, bombs in America, hitting America from these other nations, and not only that, we're in the midst of a war ourselves, a civil war. You know what I'm saying? So 1,000 people, thousands and thousands and thousands of people are going to be dying, but none of that is going to touch the elect. Okay? We're going to see a lot of dead bodies. Get ready. But it says, "It shall not come nigh thee." The elect won't be touched. Okay? It says, "Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation." Okay, so we dwell in the secret place of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We hold on to this truth. Revelation 3:10. We'll get that before we close out. "For He shall give His angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone." So the angels are watching over us to make sure we never hurt ourselves. Make sure we never get hurt. That nothing hurts us. You know what I'm saying? No missile, no bullet, no fist, no nothing. You know? "Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet." Okay? So, I mean, we're going to get those spiritual powers. You know, we're going to be able to defend ourselves against, or we're going to be able to defend ourselves against whatever comes after us. Okay? And hell, the scriptures also say that we would be in league with the beast of the field. So we ain't worried about this, you know. Because verse 14, "Because he had set his love upon me, therefore would I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name." This is why it's important to know the names of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. It's important to call on those names and believe in those names wholeheartedly. And this is one thing they're going to try to take from you. They're trying to get you to denounce these names. Okay? And you when you take that CHIP, when you take that, you know, that from Revelation 13 and 16, you are denouncing the names. Because now you are making Esau, this beast system, your God. You have pledged your allegiance to this beast system when you take that. There is no coming back from that, man. And a lot of people are going to fold because they're not going to have the faith and they're not going to know who to call on. But the elect will. And we're going to call on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So verse 15, "He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life would I satisfy him and show him my salvation." And that's what we ultimately want, is salvation. But we got to call on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You know? Psalm 23. I know I'm going kind of long, but I got to get this, and I'm going to read this whole psalm as well. Okay, this is the Psalm of David. The Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, is my shepherd. I shall not want. I shall not want. In other words, we won't have to want for anything. The Lord provides us with all our needs. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. He gave us this truth, this Holy Spirit, that we could receive the wisdom and knowledge and understanding needed to, maneuver in these times. Okay, he leaded me to beside the still waters. He restored my soul. He leaded me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. For his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. What is this valley of the shadow of death? This is America, Babylon the Great. You know what I'm saying? And it says, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. So even in a time when Jacob's trouble reached its climax, and World War III reaches its climax, the hour of temptation reaches its climax, all these here things, we have this truth, that's our rod and our staff, this word, to comfort us. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. And how many times does the Bible say, then it shall be known who are my chosen? Because everybody that's against us, the Lord gonna make us shine in their eyes, man. Like precious gold, man. We being tried in the fire, and we're gonna be more valuable than gold. Okay, the men of the Lord. It says, thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. We're not going to be able, it's like there is no way to literally contain all the blessings that the Lord is going to bring upon us, even on this side, in protecting us and giving us spiritual powers and stuff like that, and in the kingdom. You can't contain these blessings, man. And this world cannot offer anything that's even close to it. It says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And this is our plan, man. This is what we're fighting for. This is what we're hoping for. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm going to see if there's another video I wanted to get before I close it out. No, I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna get this video from the brother Amawanga Bar. I want to get this here right quick. This is a dream that a woman had.
So it was just a normal day like today. It's a cloudy day outside, kind of cold. So you stay indoors and we do what we normally did until the power went out. Power went out, and a little while later we heard these planes fly over our house. There's an airstrip nearby. I didn't really think anything of it until it happened again, and another wave of planes came. And then another wave of planes came. So in a matter of an hour, we seen 3 waves of planes go across the sky, east to west. They were different colors: blue, yellow, gray, white.
red, black. There were just all kinds of sizes, shape, color, everything. They even had older planes. And off in the distance, we could hear...
Salakia, she mentioned that they even had older planes. Look here, Esau is going to pull out everything in his repertoire, everything that he has available. He's going to bring it out. Okay? He's going to bring it out. This is his final hoorah. Okay? This is Esau's final hoorah. This is his final stand. Okay? And this stand is ultimately he has to go up against the Most High. He has to go against Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? He has to fight Yahweh Shai and the angels, and he's not going to prevail. You know, but continuing on.
Booms. And when we saw the pillars of smoke, and we knew, because there's a city that way, and there was a city that way, and in both directions we looked, it was all smoke. The sky was turning black because of it. Me and my girls were running down a street. That's what it flashes to. I'm not even at my house. I'm running down the street.
Right quick, if you look at the time right here on the phone, it says 144. Okay, so call the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai for that, man. Right in the midst of doing this lesson and listening to this prophecy. It's letting you know this the Lord speaking, man. The Lord is speaking and letting you know, hey, I'm here with you. And yes, these prophecies are absolutely happening. This is confirmation, man.
We're trying to get to a building to take cover because we hear the bombs going off. We get inside this.
The water Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai for that sign of comfort. Okay? The water Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai.
Government building or something had a basement in it. We were going with the stairwell to go downstairs. And we find this old, lazy, gray tomcat laying on the steps. And we got distracted by it. For some reason, it stopped us. We stopped running. And it was in that moment that I realized that my girls hadn't had their bobs. They didn't have their bug-out bag on their backs. And I was like, where's your bag? And they're like, we left them. I was like, you're supposed to grab them and run. I said, it's too late now. So we stayed right there. My second daughter, she picked up the cat. And the cat started hissing at her, so she tossed it. After the booms stopped, we went back outside and we headed back to the house to go get our bobs because we needed them. As we were running down the street, we see the destruction and the chaos around us. Houses burned, cars burned up, people crying, people screaming, people with blood all over their hands, their faces, their clothes. And my girls start crying because they see it for the first time. And I had to keep them together. And I said, don't worry about it, girls, keep going. We got to get to the house. So we run all the way back to the house. We get here. And we see this woman standing on the street holding her kid. And he was lifeless in her arms. And she was just standing there crying. We get back to the house. And I tell them to grab whatever they can and throw it in their bag. I started grabbing food out of the cabinets. Anything I could find. Just filling a box with food. I tried dialing on my phone to call someone. I was trying to call my husband and I couldn't get out. I could not dial out. So my girls go ahead and grab their stuff and go to the car. And I go back inside to get one more box worth of food. And I get back out to the car and my baby is sitting there in shock. She's not crying. She's not smiling. She's not doing nothing. She's just sitting there in shock. Unresponsive. My 11-year-old was crying hysterically. She was so scared she wet herself. My 15-year-old has autism, so she was like just melting down out of her mind. And then my phone rings, and it's my daddy. And he said, "They're here." And he said, "Is there any way you can get home? Can you try to get to me?" And I said, "I can try." I said, "But I gotta get my husband first." I had to steal a car, because we only have one.
Right quick, Book of Joel, chapter 1. Okay. And I'm just get verse 15 here. It says, Joel 1 and 15, the last for the day of the Lord is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall it come. And this is what she's seeing. Okay, because the Lord has gotten these missiles right to America in her dream. Okay. Okay, she's getting a vision. Okay, these things are about to come. A lot of things are coming down the pipe, man. You know, continuing on. Go ahead and let her finish up.
Driving down the road, and the missiles, they damaged the road, so it made traveling hard. Getting from one place to another was not going to be easy. There was a woman standing on the side of the road, and she kept waving, and I just drove past her. And she was screaming after me, like running, saying, "Stop, stop, stop." And I was like, "I can't." I had 3 girls in the car, I couldn't take no chances. So I kept going. And then I seen why she was yelling, "Stop," because the road, part of it had broke off, and the rest of it was getting ready to cave off. So I went around. I just floored it. I was looking at the speedometer, and it read 125. And I woke up speeding across this broken pavement as it collapsed underneath me. And we got across. That's how I woke up. There's something coming. And I don't think we're ready for it. I just floored it. I was looking at the speedometer.
Yeah, I don't think you're ready for it either, you know what I'm saying? We'll get this back in Romans, where I started off. Romans chapter 13 and 11. It says, "And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believed." Okay, so yeah, man. Our salvation is nearer than what we believed. You know, but we know things have to happen before that comes, and all these things are in the process of working themselves out. You know what I'm saying? The prophecies are happening, man. Simple as that. There's no way around it, you know, and we almost out of here. So, you know, yeah.
Speedometer, and it read 125.
I just want to hear her say that something is coming again, and I'll be done.
And I woke up speeding across this broken pavement as it collapsed underneath me. And we got across. That's how I woke up. There's something coming. And I don't think we're ready for it.
And not a lot of people ain't gonna be ready, you know. A lot of people are just not gonna be ready. And I mean, it is what it is. It's all the Lord's will, and we can accept it. You know what I mean? We might lose loved ones, children, whatever. You know. I mean, I believe the Lord will protect our children. You know. But hey, get ready, man. A lot's coming down the pipe. You know, I'm going to end it right there. Keep your head on the swivel. Stay circumspect. Measure the times diligently. You know, understand what's going on, and keep a watch. You know what I'm saying? Stay prayed up. You know, stay faithful. You know, and I'm in it right there. I hope your brothers and sisters were edified, giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.